This is Lesson 3, creating an STE file for reconnecting Dreamweaver to the server. Excuse me. This is a part of web design lessons for the professional writing portfolio. To prepare for this lesson, you'll need to log into your school or personal Google Drive. You'll need to access your Reclaim hosting email that has your username and password, which was discussed in Lesson 1 and Lesson 2. And this lesson, Lesson 3, will also review Lesson 2, but the result will be a saved STE file. STE means site file. You will use the site file to avoid typing in your Reclaim hosting information each time you use a lab or your own computer. So to begin, I've already accessed my Google Drive. It's my personal Google Drive, but you have one with school that is free, up to 100 gigabytes. I've also uncovered my email that I received from Reclaim Hosting that will look similar to the one you should have received. Here you can see my username and password. Of course, I've changed the password. All right, the other thing, in addition to the drive, opening the drive and the email, is to open Dreamweaver. As I said before, you can use Command spacebar and type in Dream, and you don't even have to do the whole thing, and Adobe Dreamweaver will come up. I have the 2017 version. If you have something earlier, like 2015 or 2016, that is fine. I'm going to double click this first hit. And one of the things I'm going to do preliminarily is delete this site here so I can show you from scratch. Okay. So Dreamweaver is open, my Google Drive is open, and my email is open. Right now, I am going to enter the information that I talked about in Lesson 1 and Lesson 2. I'm going to click this drop-down menu and click Manage Sites. I'm going to create a new site. If you are in a lab, you can ignore typing in a site name. That is only used if you are using a personal laptop computer. So my site name will be Reclaim Hosting Website, or Reclaim Website, and Lessons. I already have this on my Google Drive, which is connected to my computer. As you can see, there's a folder. I'm going to choose it. And my site name, again, only for my personal computer, is website Reclaim Website Lessons. You will ignore that one. Under servers, you click the plus sign, add new server. The server name, as you recall from Lesson 2, is part of the elements of your web address. You will change connect using dropdown to SFTP. That SFTP web address will be the same as the server name. Authentication, username and password default. My username is here. I put it here, but you can also see that it's in the email. I'm going to paste it. The password, I hold my password in a password manager, and I'm going to copy it there. It's a new password, different than my email. You will use the one from your email. I'm going to test this. Testing the connection between Dreamweaver and the Reclaim hosting server where your web pages will be stored. Okay. The root directory, that uses your username in this string right here. So Instead of course, using my username, that element where you see Elliot, R-E-N, you will replace that with your username. The web URL is already populated, but I'm going to get rid of this last part, everything from home on, and that should be your web URL. URL is Universal Resource Locator. I'm going to save this. Now we have a server set up. I'm going to save that. Remember the site, I have this on my personal computer, and this is my local folder, which is connected to Google Drive. Save. Okay, we're back at the Manage Sites dialog box. Now what you need to do to create a site file or an STE file is click Export the currently selected sites. Since most of you will be on a lab computer, we're going to export it to the desktop and then upload it to your drive. Right here, just leave the defaults. It should be backup my settings, the first option. Click OK. You can see the extension is STE. I am going to navigate to the desktop for the purposes of this lesson. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to say done. To confirm that it's on my desktop, I'm going to go back to the Finder, Desktop, and we can see it's right there. Okay. So I'm going to now take this and I am going to go to my drive and I'm going to upload it to the main folder of my drive. I'm going to click New, File, Upload. You can see it's already defaulting to the desktop, so you may have to navigate there. I usually double click on a file instead of clicking and then clicking Open. Less than 1 minute uploading. I'm going to scroll down because I have this in order of name. You can also change it to last modified sorting. And you can see that it's right there. So let me make a transition to where I delete this file. And I go over to Dreamweaver, and I am also going to delete the site that I created. Done. Now I'm going to imagine that I arrived at a lab, and I'm going to take you through the process of importing the STE file. So first, when I get to the lab, I log into my Google Drive, and in the main folder I find whatever I named the STE. I would name yours something like Reclaim Website and then your last name. You could even leave your last name off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to download, and it went to my download folder. You can leave it there or you can drag it over to the desktop. I'm going to leave it there for now. Yours may download to the desktop, so you will have to navigate there. So now I open my drive, I downloaded the STE file that I created earlier. Now I'm going to open Dreamweaver by clicking Command and holding that down, and then hitting the spacebar. And just for the purposes of this lesson, type in Dream. The top hit is the Dreamweaver version I want to use. Yours can be a little earlier, 2016 or 2015. Double click. Dreamweaver is opening. So again, I'm in a lab. I opened Dreamweaver. I downloaded my STE file before that. Now I'm going to go to Manage Sites. You should be familiar with this, especially with Lesson 2 and the review for Lesson 3, which we're in. I'm going to click Manage Sites. We have no site here. So what I need to do is import a site from a Dreamweaver site definition file, also called STE. Click Import Site. You'll recall that the STE file downloaded to the Downloads folder. And there it is. Remember, I said that I double-click files to activate them instead of clicking the file and then clicking Open. And then I'm going to say Done. And as you can see, the local view here and the site file has opened, and now Dreamweaver is ready to connect to the remote server where your web pages will be saved. You click this plug icon, Connect to Remote Server, and as you can see, we are connected. I'm going to change the view to Remote Server, and as you would expect, there are no files in there now. There is a couple folders, and the main folder is the one that we created earlier: home, username, public_HTML. Okay, so that is the end of lesson 3, where you created an STE file, you saved it to your Google Drive. That file has all the information for connecting Dreamweaver to the remote site, and it will keep you from having to type in that information time and again when you go to a lab. If you subscribe to Dreamweaver Creative Cloud 2017 for the semester or beyond, you can set this once up one time with your laptop. Thank you, and I hope you have success with this lesson.